Hello, everybody, and welcome to the last of our three 2021 investigator tier lists, where myself, Bryn, and now Travis give our own personal tier list of what we view the strength of the investigators with the following categories: S, A plus, A, B, C, D, and not available for investigators that we just don't know. We don't know enough of to
Oh,
give
I promise. I'm going to have an opinion on everybody.
I figured you would. I figured you would. So if you not see the other ones, you can check out the links to those in the description, and you can watch them before or after this. You can watch them in any order. You actually can watch them whatever order you want, because Travis is going to be taking the lead on this one, and we're just going to be like here to bounce like uh-huhs and nods on, and maybe you'll get one of us saying what, but I doubt it. I doubt it, because we know Travis is in charge, and he makes the rules here, so we have no power here. What I'll do, Travis, is as I always do with these tier lists. Do you have some S ranks and some D ranks that you want to get out of the way first that are very notable to you?
We'll
No?
just start from the top.
All right, Agnes Baker.
She's pretty good. I like that she has 5 in her brain stat. That's very good. She has a relevant ability that admittedly shoehorns a little bit into like a damage roll or a monster fang roll, kind of. And you have to include some potentially otherwise subpar cards in your deck to get use of it. But Survivor 02 is very, very good, and I would like her to be in the A plus tier.
All right.
Akachi is next. She will live in the B tier for now, as I think she is probably the worst of the 5 brain purple investigators. Her card pool is kind of dirt, as I'm sure other people have mentioned. Her ability is fine. You just get like a little more of all your cards, but especially with a full card pool that's less relevant now, I think there's lots of options to get those charges onto your cards. That being said, she's still like a 5 brain investigator, so. Yep.
Amanda Sharp.
I think Amanda is very, very good. I think she belongs in the A plus tier. She could potentially live in the. She's higher than Agnes, though. Agnes is probably like near the bottom of the A plus tier. You have some really, really ridiculous turns with her ability and cards, like any of the skills that give you something else with it too. Like Unrelenting, she can play, right?
Oh yeah, that's another one. It just busts the card. Like it just busts it wide open.
Unrelenting and Deduction, like getting full turns out of those is kind of nuts.
Yeah.
And she just gets to play like the full suite of like usual yellow stuff. You know, good investigator. She could. I've only played her once. I've briefly seen you play her before, but that's enough to convince me she's very, very good, and she could possibly crack into the S tier.
I think she's definitely at risk of it, like getting even stronger and getting S as the card pool grows too.
Yeah.
Ashcan Pete.
And Duke.
And Duke.
Yes, it's mostly Duke, actually. I think Duke kind of belongs in the A tier these days. I think that very, very good, like overall good investigator. Duke is very strong. It doesn't need much to make the deck go. That being said, it caps out pretty low. Especially some of the later campaigns demand a lot more from you in later scenarios. And a lot of those do kind of just can't quite deliver on, I don't think. Those 4s, just... It's not easy enough to boost them, I think. Like a lot of the items that you would normally use, things like Fire Axe or Mirror's Compass, a Dark Horse build, or the old Keyring, you can't use with Duke. You're pretty much entirely limited to skills and other committables. And they have gotten some neat toys, like Glimmer of Hope is very good for them. But
yeah, I think the ice pick is a huge thing for him now.
Yeah, assuming you can get it back with like scavenging consistently.
Even just like the level 1, where you just get to be +1 on your fight or your investigate with Duke.
Yeah, like bump yourself up to 5 is pretty strong.
That's Who taught Duke how to use an ice pick?
No, Pete just uses it to point at the things he wants done.
Oh, I get you. It's a little, just like a pointer device. Okay, I get you.
Yeah.
What about
Bob
Mr. Bob
Jenkins.
Jenkins?
Honestly, I thought this investigator was gonna be dirt. Like, kind of like a meme tier investigator, but he's pretty good. It's pretty good. He's gonna live in the B tier as well for me right now. I don't like him quite as much as Bryn. In my experience, I haven't actually played him. I've watched Bryn play him, and he's like good. He plays a very strong like flex support game. I'm not sure. His weakness, I think, comes from not being able to do things himself quite as good as a lot of other investigators. And he does have that ever awkward edge of the earth deck building. So
Yeah. Calvin Wright.
Calvin can live in the C tier. He's not an off. Sorry, is this supposed to be like power level or how much I like them?
It's whatever you want to rate them on. I did power level.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because they're pretty closely correlated for me, but
Yeah.
yeah, Calvin's like he's definitely not bad. I think that most investigators in the game are good to some degree, and only the ones who end up in the D tier are the ones that are like bad, or there's not really a reason to pick them over other investigators. Calvin does have his niche. He's a neat investigator. It makes you think about how some cards interact. But overall, as you guys mentioned, he's only got one deck, and it's kind of boring.
Yeah, he does have to be in the C tier for Cal.
It's true. Yeah, those are the rules. Same with Bob. Wait a minute. Carolyn Fern, Travis.
I think Carolyn deserves to be in the A tier. I think that her card pool is very, very flexible. You can do lots of different things. You can't do any of them as good as other investigators quite, but you can do enough of them good enough, or like one of them close enough and another thing like kind of good to make up for it. I know it's similar to what I said to Bob who I rated B, and it's not just because I like Carolyn more. I promise. It's because like Bob is very fenced into playing the item things, whereas Carolyn doesn't have to do the horror healing thing. You can. It just kind of exists as an option. So.
Sick. Daisy Walker.
You also don't have to worry about getting gorped by greed.
It's true. Yeah.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah,
This is true.
That feels pretty good. Though she could help with that.
She could. She'd be like, here. Don't be sad, Bob. It's okay.
Would you like some money?
Yeah.
That make you feel better?
He's like, yes, that would make me feel better.
Yeah. Daisy, oh man. Daisy gets to live in like A+ tier. She's very similar to Agnes, where she has 5 in her doing stuff stat. I'm calling it. She has a fantastic card pool. She's played yellow 0 to 5 and purple 0 to 2. She doesn't get a lot of use of a lot of the purple spells because her brain is only 3, but she gets all the defensive options. She gets access to like all the general cards that are there, Promise of Power and Ward of Protection, Deny Existence, that kind of stuff. All very strong for her. She's like a very defensively minded seeker, in my opinion. And the extra action to use a tome every turn can be very, very strong.
Yeah.
Sharing through someone's deck with an old book of lore or something like that is pretty sick. But
Daniela.
I have a higher opinion of Daniela than does. I think she deserves to be in the A tier as well. Her stat line is absolutely insane. Her ability is like a little bit lackluster, but I think they've printed enough strong red combat options now. Like you got Fire Extinguisher, you've got Chainsaw, you've got 18 Derringer, you've got Sledgehammer. She's, you don't have all the quite the options that an actual Guardian does, but you've got enough. Her ability is like, you can look at it as being like kind of pointless and dirt, but I like looking at it is it's a built-in survival knife. Level 0 survival knife. You don't have to test, which is like you could do a lot worse. You know?
Sick.
Like
Yeah, and her
level
stat
0
line is just,
survival knife.
yeah. It's like yeah, it doesn't take up a hand.
But yeah, her stat line's freaking wild.
It is.
Uh,
We'll look at like ordering these guys within their tiers when we
yeah,
get
yeah.
there.
You just tell me what to do. I'm your hands.
Yeah. Who's next? Dexter
Drake.
I think Dexter Drake is quite good as well. I think that the green 0 to 2 card pool isn't amazing, but the simple fact that he gets access like Faustian Bargain to play all his assets with is huge. And I think that he should get to live in the A+ tier. Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. You're gonna see lots of the 5-brain mystics up there.
Yeah.
Diana Stanley, yeah, she's gonna be like A+ or S or something like that. I concur with other people's statements that she's like kind of boring, but she's very good. You have card draw for free, and like it makes up. You have inherent card draw that like makes her putting stuff in the basement not matter. You just get incentivized to play the cards that honestly you should probably just be playing anyway. And then she gets to be 6-brain mystic sometimes.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, you get a resource back on it too, I think.
You do, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she can place a couple of really neat archetypes, I think. Like, I think she plays a really strong paradoxical deck where you can use, like, Holy Rosary 2, the blue one, to just crush brain tests.
Oh, yeah.
And keep a constant flow of the blessing tokens into the bag. So.
Sick.
Yeah.
Father Mateo,
I think he he's still in the C tier. It's a little sad, but he does have a lot of neat options, but they're pretty niche. He plays an okay, a little better than okay, like sort of support deck. He can play stuff like Shrine of the Moirai, which is just like really good for your team to have. He can play things like he basically has to play like the blessing curse stuff from Innsmouth.
Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to play him like a generic mystic, like there's so many better options.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, that's Father Mateo.
Yeah.
Finn Edwards.
Finn gets to live in the A tier, I think. He has a very strong stat line. He's got a pretty okay card pool. Scratch that. He's got like a not great card pool. But it is a little bit awkward sometimes having all the stats split amongst like 3 doing things stats.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with 4 than the foot. The free action is nice, but you need to be playing card. You can't just be like, that can't be your way to deal with enemies. You need to commit to deck space to that otherwise. The 1 brain is tough for him. And like I think he's got 4 book and 3 fist, right?
Yes.
Yes, like you're never gonna be able to fight that good, or investigate that consistently. And there's a lot of things from the Mythos deck that I noticed in my experience playing him that kind of just shut him down. Or like really, you're like, I'm gonna spend my entire turn dealing with this. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Still good though. Still good.
Yeah. Gloria Goldberg.
Oh, she can live in the S tier. She like can just defang the encounter deck, and also has 5 in the doing stuff stat and 4 in another doing stuff stat. She's got an insane stat line. She's got fantastic deck building. Her ability is nuts. Like, I don't know, man.
Grandma's strong. Grandma's.
Yeah, she's very good.
She wrote the best story for her. She's like, what if I could fly and I had laser eyes and also I was made of steel?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's strong.
Yeah, she's pretty good.
Harvey Walters.
Harvey Walters is like 4-5-2-1 or something like that, right?
4-5-1-2, yeah.
Okay. I put him in the A tier. That's a pretty strong stat line. And he does get to play yellow cards, which is always a plus. Having 5 and doing stuff set, you get to just draw infinite cards, man. Like, his weakness is tough, but you can definitely play around it. You just kind of either you have to go out your way with like versatile and non-existence to play the big hand archetype, to avoid it, or you just accept that you're not playing that archetype and use his card draw thing as a way to cycle through your deck. And just dump the thrice damn curiosity damage on random allies.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got a good stat line. His deck building is quite boring. You know, he's just like a yellow investigator.
Yeah, yeah. Jacqueline Fine.
I think Jacqueline also. I think she kind of deserves to be in the S tier. She has 5 in her relevant stat, and the rest of her stats aren't bad either. And like, her ability says that someone at your location gets to auto succeed a test once per round. Mm-hmm. That's really good, man. Like, and her card pool is not great, obviously, only purple cards, but purple cards can do anything. So it's not like you're restricted to guard and you have to jump through hoops to get clues or something like that. You just get to do everything on the contingent on you having enough book to do it, or enough brain to do it, which you have 5, so
you will. Yeah. The problem with her is that she's just so freaking boring.
Yep.
Yeah. What about Jenny Barnes?
She also gets to live in the C tier for me. She's super boring, but she's not unplayable. Mostly it's like been browbeaten to me by Bryn, because every time I bring up how much I hate Jenny, he's like, well, she does the dragon archetype better than Preston because you don't have to take your money from her. And I'm like, yeah, fine. She's probably going to be at the very bottom of C tier, though, because she's super boring. And she just is, man. She's got 3s. Like,
how about Mr. Jim Culver?
He's going to be our first D tier investigator.
Yeah.
I don't think there's actually a reason to play him over another purple investigator, is what it comes down to. Like, his ability is fine, but not exciting. His card pool, again, is fine, but not exciting. His stat line's pretty meh. Just...
Yeah. I think with Jim, when people pitch him as he's just the perfect generalist, you're like, oh, okay.
So he's not good at anything, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but he's not bad at anything. Oh, all right. This is coming from... I love Jim. Like, I love the character, but yeah, he's... This is one of the ones I know we all agreed on for him for D tier.
Yeah, I think there's going to be another one coming up real soon.
Lily Chen?
Joe Diamond. Yeah, Joe Diamond, I think, is... I put him at, like, the top of C tier. He is still a yellow investigator. He gets a very strong card pool. But it is awkward to deck build for him. Where, like, you have to either commit hard to fighting, in which case, like, you're kind of gimped compared to someone who's actually there to fight. Or you're gonna get clues, in which case you're also kind of gimped because you have to spend all your slots. Like, you still only have 4 book. And also, if you want to play a generalist, you can't really just go off and do things on your own because you only have 2 brain, 2 foot. You need someone to babysit you. In addition to that, I like the hunch deck. I think it's very fun. If a little bit frustrating at times, but it's also a little too random for me.
Yeah.
Like, you can build around it, but it doesn't really feel like a hunch deck then, and it's a cool idea, and I don't dislike it. I just don't think it's very good.
I feel like it'll improve as the game keeps growing, but I agree with that. It's just kind of, yeah.
No, like, there's definitely more options than when he first came out, for sure.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to play him again, but... Leo Anderson, he can live in the B tier. He's got pretty solid stat line. He's got, like, decent enough card pool. He gets a free action every 2-ish, 3 turns, depending on how you build your deck. Super boring, though. He can, like, live higher than Akachi for now.
Cool.
Yeah, like, it's just kind of there. He doesn't really feel like a blue investigator. He doesn't really feel like a green one either. But
he's just there. Hey, I'm Leo.
those are just, like, the card pools that work for him.
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
Yep.
He does play a hell of a firearm game.
He does. This is fair. But I'm sure eventually we'll get a firearm specialist investigator and he'll lose that niche.
Yeah. Bring
Yeah,
a sharpshooter.
he's the dog man.
Yeah. He's the dog man. Yeah. Lily Chen.
I think Lily Chen is quite good. Her disciplines are... She's very flexible deck building in terms of her disciplines. Actual deck building, not so much. But I think there's enough things that you can do with level 0 purple cards and high level blue cards that you use the like low level ones to protect yourself and spend the rest of your card slots on just like killing stuff. I understand the book discipline. I don't think it's like particularly good or useful. And she does have... I think of all these investigators, she has the most awkward transitory period where you kind of... I think you want to start with the plus brain discipline, and because you're here to kill monsters, like someone's got to do it, it's going to be you, it's your job. So you use the level 0 things that you can, which are probably primarily going to be purple spells. And then once you get enough experience, once you hit 15, you can grab the purple, or the fist discipline. But that kind of boxes you into like having to take those. So I think she can... This one I'm like not super confident, but I'm going to stick her in the bottom of the A+ tier. I think the abilities on her disciplines are absolutely insane. Like +5 to your next skill test is a lot.
It's a big number.
You're going to pass. Yeah. Being able to
big.
take 3 actions in a turn is very strong. Being able to... With purple cards, it's not too difficult to not take damage. So you can repeatedly use the brain one to heal. Like taking 1 damage to heal 3 is... There's so many times as a monster fighter, you're like, what am I doing this turn? You're just like, yeah, I'll just heal myself for the stat that's like missing. Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, and then whatever the book one does.
Yeah, whatever the book one does, it exists.
Lola can, yeah.
Got you covered, Travis.
Thanks. Anyway, so Luke.
Yeah.
Luke deserves to be in the S tier. This one's only a little bit personal bias. Like, the gate box is so good, man. His ability is so good. And his card pool is so good. And his stat line is not so good, but, like, it's pretty good. There's so many things you can say about Luke, and none of them are really bad. It's just... He even gets to abuse Practice Makes Perfect. Arguably the best. Especially at level 0 where you get Deduction and... Perception and Promise Makes Power. And then, like, another one.
And the... what's it called? The commit for book, get more go juice on spell thing.
Oh, and Rapture.
Oh, yeah, in Rapture, that's
practice.
practice.
Yeah, that card's practice too, I think.
completely forgot about that. You're right. Yeah, no, it is 100%.
Yep.
And it puts charges on your gate box.
Yeah. Fire it up, and I feel like the clue I found here is more witchweed.
Yeah, you might look... I'm excited for when we do the Luke deck tech, because, man, you might look at him and think he's not a book investigator, but he is.
Yeah, he is. He is. Man.
Yeah, to the top. Yeah. The best. I feel kind of bad about Maddie being so good because I think that she's really fun to play and like has really cool deck building options. But I don't want to be the guy who just sits down with Maddie all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Like,
pretty
there's
sure
a lot of neat things you can do with her splashes and stuff. And
YouTube would riot if you did. They'd be like, "Stop bringing Mandy decks."
Just show
Travis
us
is
the
your
100
seventh
card
campaign
Mandy
in a
deck.
row. I did, and it made the game easy still.
Yeah.
It'll make them even more.
Yeah, there's not much to say about
Yeah,
Maddie
she's just
that we haven't
strong.
already said several times.
Yep. See any of our reviews, well, any of our other tier lists. Marie Lambeau.
She's a C tier investigator. She has an extra action every turn, which is quite strong. She's gonna be at the top C though. The 4 book and 4 brain thing is a little bit awkward. It's not like wholly bad. It's just a little uncomfortable. Her card pool is nothing special. She doesn't get to play the Doom archetype the best. It's fun. It's good. Like having 4 actions a turn for free is pretty nice. So she is a 4 brain purple investigator.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Sexy Mark Harrigan.
Mark, yeah, he gets the honor of being our first non-purple S tier. He's just the best guardian.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't really outshine any of the other investigators who are here. He doesn't do anything particularly broken, but he's so incredibly efficient at what he does, and also gets to play practice makes perfect with Vicious Blow overpowering the home front.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, yeah, Brendan. I know Brendan talked about this in his video, but like his card pool is pretty awful. But like when, like from a number standpoint, it's pretty awful. But the cards he does get are very strong.
Yeah, that's kind of just like how it is, right? Like his card pool is like not great, but the things that he has, like he just play the good stuff that he can, and that stuff's still really good.
Yeah. Yeah, like getting a draw card every time you take damage. Oh.
Yeah.
And like get +2 stats whenever you want, man.
Yep. Mark Strong. Minty Fan.
I think Minty Fan deserves to be in the A tier.
Wow, I ranked her the lowest. That's crazy.
She gets the yellow card pool. She wants to do yellow things with it. She has to be. She can go above Carolyn for now. Having the 0-2 survivor card pool is really, really strong. Some of the really big things she gets to do are she gets to play like deduction level 2 as well as sharp vision, which is just extra copies of deduction.
Yeah.
Effectively anyway. Yeah, like she doesn't do anything particularly broken. Everything about her is just like good.
Mm-hmm.
Not great like Luke, but just good.
Yeah.
That being said, she does usually need help when a monster finds her. So
Yeah. Yeah. Honorary Jack.
I thought this guy was going to be quite good when he was spoiled, but having played with him and seeing people play with him a little bit, I am less hot on him now. He does get the yellow card pool as always, but he misses out on having the broken level 0 stuff or having easy access to it. You have to pick what you get.
Mm-hmm.
The 4 book hurts more than you think it would, especially when you can't just play like, Jeremiah Kirby or Milan and magnifying glasses. And then play like the other good yellow cards too, right?
Yeah.
Him getting his ability is good, but I also find it quite awkward because a lot of times as a yellow investigator, you're like, man, I just want to investigate 3 times though.
That's why I think he's like probably best at 2 players and like or 1 player, right? Because then you just grab your clues and leave, right? I agree though, because in Edge of the Earth, that's the same problem. Where you're like, oh, I don't get my ability this turn. Why am I playing this character? What? I'm a failure.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna stick him in B tier. I think high B, right at the top. But he's just his card pool never really meshes. His ability is awkward with what he wants to do. No.
Mm-hmm. Sick.
Everything about him is just kind of awkward.
Nathaniel
Cho. He can go to A+ tier. He's good at killing monsters, but he's super boring. He punches good. That's what he's got, man.
Yeah. That's fair. All right, I'm very curious about this one, Mr. Norman Withers.
I think Norman Withers is an A+ tier investigator. You get all the level 0 yellow stuff that's really good. And then... So you don't have to have access to the higher level yellow stuff to like really abuse his 5 book or get all the clues that you need, because you can do that with the high level purple stuff. He's kind of like an inverse Luke Robinson in that sense. It is a little bit awkward that he wants to use his book in the early game and his brain in the late game, but they're both so good, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, having 4 and 5 in those stats is absurd.
Yeah, man.
He's not even like a guy who has like 5 health or anything like that. He's pretty chunky.
Yeah.
It's because he's got that old man strength.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then his ability is absolutely insane. The future sight thing is ridiculous. Like, having played with it, it's... my god. Like, I almost... That Innsmouth campaign, I almost feel bad about doing what I'm doing, because I don't get to do all the cool things with his ability. I'm just using it to recycle deduction every turn.
Yeah,
which is really, really good, don't get me wrong.
When I was making my tier list and I was bringing up Norman Withers, I'm like, this guy is going to continue to just break parts of the game wide open, because Travis has already plays a deduction every turn with him, and some people in chat were like, how? What? He's wild. Yeah. Norman Withers is wild.
Yeah. Yeah, he can stay there and we'll reorder him later.
Oh, yeah. Patrice Hathaway.
I've actually played more Patrice than I ever thought I would. I think I finished 3 campaigns with her. I like her. I think power level, I think she's like a low B, mid-tier B, something like that. I think she's really, really fun to play. Similar to Joe Diamond, but she's a bit better than Joe Diamond. It's a very different game, being able to draw through your deck and like, how am I going to solve this problem? Or the problems that have arisen this turn with what I have in my hand. And not even like solve problems, but like, how am I going to make these cards worth it?
Yeah.
It's a very fun puzzle. She gets a really interesting set of cards for that as well, in the purple and red. Most of them are quite situational. And, you know, there's like there's decisions to be made about whether you want to play these situational cards and try to do those things all the time so that the situations are more relevant, or you're just going to play general things like Prophesy and Unexpected Courage and be like, hey, you're doing something, do it a little bit better. Yeah, I like Patrice a lot.
Cool. Preston Fairmont.
I think Preston is actually very good. And I would like him to live in the A tier.
Whoa. And I thought I was being like the crazy one because I put him in the B tier. I was like, Preston's getting better. Go on, Travis.
No, I think Preston is like very, very good. He has to do a lot of things. Like, he does have the issue that Bryn brought up where you have to pay to do everything, but when you do things, they just happen. You get exactly what you're paying for. And they have printed cards that just, like the new counterintelligence or whatever.
Yeah, the Ward of Protection, yeah.
Yeah, they've been giving green better and better ways to protect themselves from counter deck, and some of the things that slip through the cracks that other people can't handle, you can just pay away. You know?
Yeah.
I think he's pretty good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Mr. Rex Murphy.
Is this as printed?
No, this is the tabooed.
Tabooed? Okay, he can go to like the bottom of the S tier then. His ability's still really strong, but at the end of the day, he has a lackluster card pool. It is basically just yellow cards. You get a handful of other stuff, but free deduction every turn is good enough to put him in the S tier, but you can't compete with Mandy with just 1 deduction a turn, bud. Have you tried succeeding a test any test every turn?
Yeah, we should try just
And also drawing 3 cards.
Doing anything.
Yeah.
Rita Young.
Rita gets to live in the C tier. Because I think she plays a pretty solid, like, off fighter. Flex character, turn towards fighting. She could also probably do a pretty solid job of like playing a flex towards investigating as well with the introduction of the old keyring and the Mariner's Compass. Has been a while since I played her because Justin played her, had an awful time. We were like, she's bad. She also got a bunch of new toys for tricks from the Winifred deck. So yeah, like she's probably like, I put her below Marie but higher than Joe. I think it's a good place for her.
Cool.
I do want to try playing her again. I think she runs a pretty solid Dark Horse deck where you get to be like 2, 4, 4, 6.
4, 3, 4, 6.
That's pretty close. Those are good stats.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah.
Sweet. Mr. Roland Banks.
Roland's also a C tier. I hate it, but he's got similar problems to Joe, where like you're trying to do 2 things, kind of. You're a little more focused because you actually just want to kill things, but also like no one else needs to be killing things because you gotta be getting the last shot on them for your ability to work.
It's like a MOBA.
And you only have 4 punch, and it sucks. It's hard. So yeah, he gets to live in the C tier. I like Roland a lot, but especially if you're playing with cover up,
Yeah, especially when you
playing
also
with
discard
cards,
your cover up.
that's much better. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's really tough, man. Let me tell you.
Yeah. Safina Rousseau.
Safina is. I think Safina's going to be up in the top bits of B for me. No, she can go up in the A tier. She's got a good card pool for what she does. Her unique card is very, very strong. Starting with an opening hand of 13 cards is very, very strong. She's got just great defense. Like almost all of her points are in defensive stats, but they're also her do things stats, which is a good overlap to have. That's where you want to be. Yeah. She's probably not going to stay at the bottom, but we'll see.
Yeah. We'll get through all these before we.
Yeah.
Silas Marsh.
And these are, again, tabooed, so no catastrophe abuse, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, he gets to live up in the A+ tier then. Unrelenting is a stupid card and shouldn't function with him the way it is, and that's the reason that he gets to be there. You draw cards better than Seekers do, except for Amanda, probably.
Yeah, because she busts it a little bit more.
Yeah. She also probably does more with it. No, like Silas is just... He's... I don't want to say a mediocre fighter. He's a good fighter. He's not a great fighter. His ability is fun. His card pool is so-so. Yeah, just like some of his interactions with his ability and certain skills that work in a weird way is really, really strong.
Yep. Sister Mary.
She gets to live in the B tier. She's got a good card pool for what she's trying to do. She plays the Blessing archetype the best, obviously. She does struggle to fight a little bit, but she does, especially once you get experience, if your teammates can carry you through the first couple scenarios a little and not do too badly. Like Holy Sphere and Nephthys I don't think I'd ever play her as like the primary monster fighter, but she's a great flex investigator. She has very strong combat options at higher experience levels, and she has some pretty solid clue getting options for her off turns in purple. Things like Read the Signs and Sixth Sense work well for her. So
sick. Skids O'Toole.
Skids can live in the D tier. Above Jim. Yep. He's just bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stella can go to the S tier. Neither Rain nor Snow is a dumb card. And she doesn't, like, break things way, like, completely wide open like Mandy or Gloria do. She's more in the same place as, like, Mark and Jacqueline, I think, where she just does everything a little bit too good, but she is going to get to live above Jacqueline, I think, because it's so easy to recur neither rain nor snow, and if that's the only thing you do, you're still doing great.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I hate that. I don't understand why they're red.
Tommy Muldoon.
Tommy Muldoon is like a solid A tier investigator. He doesn't fight the best. He's only got 4 punch. He does have great card pool though for what he wants to do. The blue 0 to 5 and the red 0 to 2. Mm-hmm. He's got solid economy where you're probably making a little bit of money off of most of the assets you lose. And there's lots of assets that you can just kind of abuse with him. Yeah, it's just a good, nice, good, solid investigator. Boring,
Tony Morgan.
Boring. He can go to the S tier. He can live above Stella. Hey, maybe this certain this is like really weird that they printed these guys and they all have 5 in the stat that they need to play the game. And also they all get insane deck building and have an insane ability.
These 3? Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of hope that the other 2 also follow the same pattern just to so not left out, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Tony's just wild.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I'm not going to talk too much about him. If you can go look at other videos, and you'll probably find what we complain about him.
Yeah. Go to the Rogue podcast we do. He's a big...
Oh,
even honestly, the Guardian podcast, he shows up a bunch.
Yep.
Trish Scarborough.
Trish can go to the tippy top of A+. She's so close to being S tier. Actually? Yeah, I think Rex is still a touch better than her just because he gets to do his extra clue unconditionally, whereas Trish requires her to be an enemy at her location, or the location she's investigating. That can be a little bit awkward sometimes. Being said, her card pool is insane. Her stats are pretty good for what she's trying to do. She doesn't really have any huge downsides. And yeah, like, just unconditional, or testless clues, I should say, is a very good place for a seeker to be.
Yeah, yeah. Ursula Downs.
She gets to live in the D tier. I don't like Ursula. I don't think she's very good. Yeah.
All right.
She's got 4 in her book. It's not enough to be investigating several times a turn. Like, you need to have a lot of stack ways to buff it. Her card pool is just kind of garbage. Yeah, like, Wendy also can go to the S tier. She can live above Stella. Wendy doesn't, like, do anything particularly broken in terms of, like, game. In terms of, like, winning the game, really. She just gets to not fail a bunch. Like, you still get to pass tests. You still have to, like, she doesn't have the best stats for actually doing things. She still has to, like, work to get them higher, but she does get to try every test twice. So, I think Glimmer of Hope really just...
Yeah, it's really nice in her. Very, very nice in her.
I will say, Abandoned Alone is just... I hate it.
It is
Yeah,
a bit of a kicking, isn't it?
it's a tough weakness.
I can't believe it doesn't like remove itself from the game.
Nah, because it wants to kill this child.
It does. Like 2 direct horror and like my god.
Yeah. William Yorick.
I think Will York is like a high A, low A plus investigator. I'll put him in the A just because there's less people there for now. He does struggle a little bit with the economy. His stat line's like not ideal for killing monsters, which is the thing he wants to do. He's only got 4 fist. But he is very, very difficult to kill. You need to play some neat cards with him. You know, he's a good investigator. He has a couple of defined weaknesses. And honestly, like he's just a very well designed investigator.
Yeah, bizarrely balanced for something that does so much graveyard interaction.
Yeah, it actually really, really is.
Yeah. Winifred Haberbock.
I think she's a C tier investigator for me. I think I wouldn't put her in B, but at the bottom. Yeah. Like, I think she's pretty good. The thing that really holds her back is her stat line. Like, her ability is very strong. But having 5 in your foot and 1 in your brain and like 3 in your do things stats is tough. Especially when you're churning through your deck like that. You're gonna be taking horror, which can be mitigated, of course. You're gonna be facing your weaknesses several times. Like, you're wanting to close out the game as fast as you can, realistically. And from a thematic standpoint, that's also what you're trying to do. You're just trying to race through the scenario before your decisions catch up with you. But she's just not good enough at actually doing things, I don't think, to like do that, to live up to that. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, counterpoints to that, Bryn?
Sorry, counterpoints to.
Winifred is she wants to go fast to close out the game. She's just not quite good enough at actually doing things.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you got threes in your action stats. That's it.
Yep. Okay. Good man. I nailed it. Bryn doesn't have a contrarian opinion for me.
Yeah,
Sick.
like the built-in card draw engine is sick.
Yeah.
But threes kind of suck.
Yeah.
It's true. I think Zoe is very good. She can live in the A tier. She's got a pretty okay card pool. 4 brain is like really good, good place to be. 4 punch, not so good, but acceptable. And then her ability to just get resources whenever you engage things fixes a huge hole and something that a lot of Guardians struggle with. And it's good. It's good.
All right, the parallel investigators.
Parallel Agnes, I think, is a C tier investigator. I think she's neat, but I don't think she's super good. Being able to recycle your spells is kind of fun, and being able to use like health to reduce their cost is a neat way of ensuring that you get to like make playing all those events viable. It's a nice way of also like flipping around her. I want to take horror damage, and I want to take
meat damage.
I want to take meat damage, yeah. And then, especially since I like the theme of it. It's like blood magic, right?
Yeah.
That being said, I think it's like not as good as just being a check it out as level 5 shriveling.
It is a nice tie to her Arkham 2nd Edition version.
Yep. Oh, for sure.
Parallel Daisy.
She can actually live below Lola.
Do you think that's where I put her?
Oh, man.
Like, actually in the trash.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that getting access to Grimm's fairy tales and forfeiting all of your purple cards is a bad trade?
Also, you get to take like probably like 3 or 4 actions in one turn, one time in one game, or you can take an extra action every turn.
Tough choice, Travis. I think I'll take the second one.
Yeah. Yeah. Parallel Roland, I think he belongs in like probably the low B tier. He's neat, but a lot of his directives are just like, not a lot of them, I should say, but like some of his directives are just kind of bad.
Mhm.
And like it's obvious what they intend to do with them, but they're worse than just like doing good things. He gets access to some really cool new cards to play with, like Flare and Sure Gamble. But he also loses access to blue 4 and 5, which can be tough. Because I was very excited initially to play Sure Gamble alongside Shotgun, but
Alas.
yeah,
God.
can't. It's sad.
Bob Jenkins,
Imperial
where are
Skids.
you?
I'm gonna put Skids in B tier. Yeah, because he's not bad, but he does a lot of nothing a lot of the time, you know?
I think I said in mine that everyone's gonna hate that you gamble every turn, but you have to gamble every turn. Like, otherwise you're
Yeah, you
not
have
doing
to.
anything.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
No, that's exactly it. It's also like what are you doing with the gambling? You know? Like playing 6 luckies is sick, but
I think the best thing that Parallel Skids O'Toole has is he's the best right now at doing a underworld support deck and going hard on the exceptional items.
yeah, what's his card pool?
Um, Green, and then I think Favor and Gambits.
No, but can you play like high level green stuff or is
Yeah,
he
he can
restricted
go 0 to
to
5.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Alright, and then we'll reorder these guys.
Yeah,
D tier
yeah.
doesn't matter, they're all garbage. C tier. Um Jay can go on the very bottom. And then like probably Father Mateo. And then like Calvin below Agnes. And then that's good.
Cool.
And then for scroll up a bit, we might shift some of these guys down actually. We got quite a few people at the A plus and A tiers here. If you want to scroll up a
Is
little
that
bit.
good for you?
Yeah, that's good. Um Actually, those guys kind of belong there. Get back to B tier. I think Bob's actually better than Monterey Jack. And I think Parallel Roland is like a little bit not I think Sister Mary is worse than Parallel Roland. Yeah. Yeah. And we're gonna put Winifred ahead of Akachi and Leo because I think they're really boring. Yeah,
Sick.
I like that. And then A. I think Sophian deserves to be near the top. And then I think that York can go. He's gonna be like middle of the pack. Yeah, somewhere. I think Daniela deserves to be up there, just behind Min. And Finn probably also deserves to be ahead of Carolyn. Yeah, something like that looks pretty okay.
Cool.
For our A plusies, Norman Withers can go like right behind. He's gonna be third. And then Amanda Sharp's gonna be ahead of Trish. And Nathaniel Cho is gonna go behind Norman Withers. And Diana Stanley can go up probably ahead of Nathaniel Cho. You know, in an attempt to make myself look better in the future when they print more broken cards, we're gonna put Norman Withers at the top of A plus. Yeah. And Agnes can probably hide. I think Agnes is actually a little bit worse than Dexter is. And the S tier, the order doesn't really matter as long as Mandy's at the top, because they're all there for their own reasons.
Sick. All right, well, I'll scroll through one time for people watching at home, but you can find the link to this tier list down in the description, as well as links to the videos of Bryn and myself going through this. And I will say, from my perspective, I like this a lot more than us making a joint list, because there are some big differences between them, which is kind of cool. It's cool to see, because everyone views power levels differently. Our S tier is pretty similar. I just noticed that with my S tier, I was just a bit pickier. I only had 5 people in it.
Like, honestly, if I could have a higher tier for Mandy, Gloria, and Tony, I probably would.
Yeah. Double S rank.
Yeah.
Sick.
And don't forget, this listing is only my opinion, which makes it objectively correct.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can throw Bryn and Mines in the trash. This is the one that's official.
This is it.
Yeah. All right, well, thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thank you to all our patrons. Thank you for everyone who commented on this to say, I agree, I disagree, here's why. We're going to be back very soon for some more Arkham Horror content, but we hope you enjoyed our 3-day Christmas special that after this we're going back to double uploads each day again. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. And as always, GG's.